Support for this podcast comes from St. Alphonsus Sports Medicine, offering services for sports injury and recovery, with physicians and athletic trainers who provide treatment for fractures, dislocations, sprains, strains, and other sports-related issues. More information on services at stalphonsus.org. So you can't see this, but hopefully you can hear it. Behind every Boise State Public Radio podcast is a team working hard to bring you stories that matter. So if you value podcasts like this one, please support them. Hit donate at boisestatepublicradio.org. Thanks.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector, Idaho's daily news. Good morning, I'm James Dawson. It's Wednesday, June 11th, and here are today's headlines. Idaho officials are implementing tough new restrictions to prevent the spread of screwworms. The state has released new information on how its firing squad executions will take place, and the potential new president of Boise State will be announced next week. Stay with us. Six members of Idaho law enforcement will be the ones to pull the trigger once the state implements its death penalty by firing squad starting in July. The Idaho Statesman reports the volunteers must have at least 3 years of peace officer training and no disciplinary offenses related to firearms or use of force in the past year. State officials previously considered using a robot to fire the rounds, but decided to rely on humans instead. 3 of the volunteers will be active shooters with a team leader and 2 alternates. They will shoot from behind a wall about 10 yards away from the prisoner. State officials have spent $1.2 million to renovate Idaho's death penalty chamber and another $24,000 on 5 .308 caliber rifles. The Idaho State Board of Education will soon announce its pick to lead Boise State University as its next president. Trustees will name their sole finalist next Tuesday during their upcoming board meeting on the Boise State campus. The university has been without a full-time president since last summer when Marlene Tromp left to lead the University of Vermont. Since then, board officials conducted a failed search, ultimately lobbying the state legislature to pass a law allowing them to keep the identities of potential presidential candidates secret until shortly before hiring them. A day after the announcement, the finalists will answer questions from the community in an open forum that will be live-streamed. As screwworm fly infestations spread in Texas and New Mexico, officials warn Idahoans to look out for infections among livestock and pets traveling across state lines. Julie Lucetta has more on the latest state requirements.
On Wednesday, the Idaho State Department of Agriculture announced animals coming into the state from infected areas are required to have a health certificate issued within 5 days of movement. State veterinarian Scott Livesley says because Idaho is the 3rd largest dairy producer in the country, it trades a lot of cattle with Texas.
It's concerning, and we need to make sure that we take the proper precautions because we want people to continue to have business opportunities, but we don't want to be irresponsible in letting something slip through.
Screwworm infections do not affect food safety, but left untreated can significantly impact the health of animals and in some cases lead to death. The burrowing fly and its larvae specifically feed on the live flesh of warm-blooded creatures, including companion pets like dogs, cats, and birds.
So our first recommendation is if you don't have to travel with your pet to an affected state, don't.
The state also recommends that people who have traveled to Texas and New Mexico thoroughly check their animals for open wounds and the presence of small larvae about the size of a grain of rice. Julie Lucetta, Boise State Public Radio News.
The U.S. House of Representatives recently passed a measure that seeks to eliminate obstacles to prescribed fires and other fuels reduction projects. The Mountain West News Bureau's Murphy Woodhouse reports that it enjoys bipartisan support.
The Cross-Boundary Wildfire Solutions Act is fairly simple. It directs the Government Accountability Office to study obstacles to conducting wildfire mitigation projects on land with multiple owners or jurisdictions. Within 2 years, the GAO is expected to share its report and recommendations. Here's the bill's sponsor, Representative Joe Neguse, a Colorado Democrat.
And then from there, eliminate, modify, make the necessary arrangements to ensure that those obstacles no longer exist.
Neguse is hopeful that the measure will make it to President Trump's desk because of the bipartisan support it enjoyed in the House, where 4 of its 6 co-sponsors are Republicans. Pointing to recent reforms like wildland firefighter pay raises, he says it's just the latest instance of cross-party collaboration on fire policy. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Murphy Woodhouse.
And the Idaho State Fire Marshal's Office says a wildfire in rural Payette County that burned in late May was arson. The fire burned less than 100 acres of farmland off of Interstate 84 on May 29th. Officials didn't say why they believed the fire was intentionally set, but asked that anyone who may have seen suspicious people or vehicles in the area to call their office to share that information. And that's today's episode of The Connector. I'm James Dawson, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. To stay in touch with the news between now and then, check out BoiseStatePublicRadio.org and share this podcast with a friend. Thanks for listening.
Each story you hear on Planet Money starts with a question. What happens if we refund tariffs? Why are groceries so expensive? At NPR, we stand for your right to be curious, because the forces shaping our world can be hard to see. Follow NPR's Planet Money wherever you get your podcasts and start seeing how the economy really works.